the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, before the legislative national power, directed by Jorge Rodriguez Gomez, at the headquarters of the legislative power. That's democracy. Anything else, it's a lie of some people. Then the president gave his annual speech on January 15th, a message to the country. We talked about the 7T, the plans for this upcoming 2025, and there one of the crucial issues was dialogue, called for the president as constitutional president of the Republic of Venezuela until 2031. Immediately, the dialogue started, meetings. 38 political organizations were part of this dialogue. 38. There are some who don't believe in democracy, which has been proven yesterday in an address of this lady, that some believe she leaders the opposition in Venezuela, but she only is the leader of a small part of the opposition. She says that call for elections, it's not qualifying. So she said that a coup d'etat must be carried out. That's her usual position. Now she's being honest, at least. A few moments ago, she said that elections won't be possible to be carried out without her. She said that was not possible to go to election. Well, we all know that's the meaning of that sector of the opposition. Meanwhile, there are sectors of the opposition that are ready for the elections. I'm going to tell you who's ready for the elections. The United Socialist Party of Venezuela. The United Socialist Party of Venezuela and its allies. We're waiting for the CNE to say this is the electoral agenda and ready. Remember that this year the elections that are usually established in the Constitution are governors, mayors, legislative council, councilors, and National Assembly. 2025 has to be characterized by the realization of these 5 elections, plus the consultations and the communal circuits and the projects of the communes, as well as the consultation of a constitutional reform, that there's actually a committee for that. And elections, all the elections needed for exercise democracy. And if CNE says tomorrow the elections for such thing are on Sunday, February 9, that's okay. We're ready. On Sunday, February 16th, we're ready. Because on the 2nd, there's a consultation with the communal circuits for the projects. Even if they say that for the 2nd there's an election, we are ready, because we are ready for comply with this constitution. And if you are not ready, well, take responsibility before the country for history. But they're there showing their true nature of saying that we don't have to carry out any election. She's not a candidate anymore. She is not part of any election. Because now, apparently, elections are good if she's a candidate. It's very humbled, their leader, with a high level of detachment. They are capable of using everything for the benefits. They're selfish. Let's see what happens if the opposition obeys her this time, or if they say they want to take part of these elections. I talked about the Bolivarian school exercise for the January 23rd. That's a march. We will provide details further, but now Fernandez will provide further details regarding where we are going to come from, and we will cover the whole metropolitan area of Caracas. The consultation of February 2nd, the deployment of our party. We also had during the week on Monday, we said goodbye to our beloved fellow mate Isaías Rodriguez, former vice president of the country, the first vice president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, the Fifth Republic, the first vice president of the Republic, appointed by Commander Hugo Chavez, the first one. Then you find out about the conspiracies of certain groups. Commander Chavez proposed him to be president of the Congress, and a conspiracy was held to avoid that for the old power that wanted to keep ruling this country, but they couldn't avoid him to become vice president. It was a direct decision of Commander Hugo Chavez. And then the whole country recalls him when on April 12th, with extraordinary courage, he said that a coup d'etat was being held and Commander Chavez was kidnapped. He deceived the great communication media and sent the message that our people wanted to hear that was necessary for the world. The brave Attorney General Isaías Rodriguez. The Cultural National Award was delivered 2023-2024. In sports, Edwin Becerra won the Tátira Award representing Trujillo, because it's a team of Trujillo. Bravo de Margarita won the first game of the Baseball Professional League between Bravos and Cardinals, an unprecedented final. This is the first time. And well, today, the President of the United States took office. We wish the best for the people of the United States. We wish that peace prevails in the world. A very complex and difficult period is coming, especially for the conditions in which the people of the United States are living in. A lot of inner work must be carried out in that people. Did you see what happened with TikTok? And it happened so fast. A question. Greetings, good afternoon. We start the question with Melanie Castillo by Venezuela Television. Good afternoon. In which way is getting ready the people for the first consultation of this year, 2025, and especially providing details about the way of in which these initiatives have been efficient for the resolution of some needs in the territory through prioritizing projects? Number two, influencers, TikTokers, and other people have requested a military intervention in a country, even generating proposals to get some logistics. We want to know if they will be investigated for their declaration. And number three, what is demonstrating Venezuela by receiving with humanitarian aid Colombians that have been displaced through these violent conflicts in their countries, and how is being developed this support and logistics regarding security in that territory. Thank you. Thank you. This first consultation of this year, the consolidation of the popular power at communal level, where they go and present their projects, and the residents of that commune exercise the right to vote. I don't know if that exists in any other place at that level. I doubt it. This is not done with a local budget, but with national budget that is allocated in the communes, and they create their list of projects, first stages, second stages, and then move forward. But it's the same people, the people itself, the one who looks for the solutions of its problems with the support of our responsible government, which is what Simon Rodriguez called toparchy, the power of locals, the self-government of the people, a government that, in addition to be self-government, has the capacity of execute tasks and solution the problems of the people there. That's the exercise of this constitution. That is why I always see, and I'm happy that this 5th article is in the constitution. The sovereignty is in the people who exercises in the ways presented in this constitution and in law, and indirectly through suffrage by the public power bodies. The bodies of the state come from popular sovereignty, and they must comply with it. Supreme exercise of democracy, participatory, protagonic democracy. Some people don't like it. We must remember that when the first laws of popular power were approved, the opposition sectors were to the Supreme Court of Justice to demand the cancellation of the laws. They want to continue administrating the power as they did before. But we'll see on February 2nd in the whole territory what's going to happen. Regarding influencers and TikTokers requesting and in military invasion, if they are being investigated, they are enemies of the homeland. All of these things, you see them. These days I saw a person asking for help because that person had problems with her moms. About 5 months ago, that person was one of those who attacked the government of Venezuela a lot. But he was doing it because he was being paid. Where are they now? Those who paid him, those who hired him. Where is the link? Just a commercial link? Only that? And they call that free of speech, calling for an invasion to a country, the destruction of a country. Even worse, when you call for the destruction of the country where you were born. They do it in an anonymous way, behind the dark, out of the Venezuelan territory. And there are some that are not even influencers. They're evil people, as Zimanovich. He says, go invade and kill, but he doesn't come. They have a high level of scarcity of courage. They have good voice and send other people to sing. We are following up those people, and this party works this way. We go to social media and they are there. What are they going to say, that they didn't say it? What are they going to say, that they were paid? It's you, it's your voice, you're the one saying it. You are proposing it. And when someone criticizes them, then they get sick, they are political pursued, and suddenly here in Venezuela there are children who have nothing to do with this, and they expose this as an invasion, a bomb for the direction of the Socialist Party of Venezuela. That doesn't exist. They are coward. They have no courage to come to Venezuela. We have invited them so many times. Let them direct any invasion operation to our country. And regarding the humanitarian aid from Venezuela to Colombia, it's not the first time, nor it will be the last one. The Colombian people displaced by violence in their territory, by the lack, and in a study from the 87, the abandonment of the borders in Colombian territory by the Colombian governments until now. Venezuela is safeguarding its border. A conflict there, and some people come here fleeing the violence. That's not new. Up to 5 million Colombians came to Venezuela. They live here today and have families here in the whole Venezuela, fleeing the violence. It happens in Tijú, in a region. We must ask the Colombian authorities the level of abandonment of that region. They come to Venezuela. What Venezuela can do? Abandon them? We cannot do that. We have never done that. Immediately, our president, Nicolás Maduro, ordered to take care of the displaced people, and the armed forces were deployed by order of our commander. We have refugees, hospitals, healthcare centers, and we're calling for the states to send from each state, for example, Jacqueline from Barinas, 49 people to take them to Barinas, and we are coordinating action. Now, why are we doing this, and why sometimes we are attacked and we don't care about it? The reason is that the peoples are more important than that. From Colombia, we have received from former Colombian presidents, we have received constant attacks and evil attacks. Let's remember where was organized the Gedeon operation, where the captains were placed in the Gedeon operation, and who financed it. Ivan Duque. We even provided the location of him. An attack against us, a sister nation. Does he care about the peoples? Does Álvaro Uribe care about the peoples? He probably has particular graveyards in Colombia. They don't care. Now, it calls our attention that after the declarations of Uribe talking about a military intervention in Venezuela, these things are happening. It calls our attention. And behind all this, the so-called paramilitary bands are. these so-called paramilitary bands are behind this. I wish the peace prevails in Colombia. We need a Colombia in peace. With constant call from people like Alvaro Uribe Pastrana to invade Venezuela, and these things happen, we need to start thinking. Let's remember that they took from Venezuela to Colombia Ivan Duque Uribe. They took leaders from the Aragua train and installed them there, and they have been planning with them attacks on crowded centers in Venezuela, on facilities in Venezuela. They took the Aragua train there. Organizations financed by drug trafficking. Now today we listen the President of the United States talking about criminal ban. Let's ask. The FBI has information about it. If they have good intelligence there, they must know what happened with the Aragua train, who took it to Colombia, and why did Uribe take the Aragua train to Colombia. Some days ago, the head of the C7C said, Minister, we have this information of a meeting of these people of the Aragua train in such place, in certain place of Colombia. Can we coordinate with the judicial bodies of Colombia to catch them, their exact direction? I said yes, inform them. They are criminals. We provide them the directions, the location, their names, the exact place, and they arrested just one and protected the other ones. And the one who was arrested, they don't want to give it back. They're protecting it. The judicial bodies of Colombia, they obey the structure left by Uribe and Ivan Duque. And who do they work with in the United States? With criminals that are in the United States for long ago. Carlos Vecchio, Miguel Pizarro, David Velázquez, with their bosses, Juan Guaidó, Leopoldo López, and Julio Borges. They created a network of coyotes, of migrants, that must be of knowledge of the FBI. If in an objective way, they investigated a little bit the role played by these people, Javier Velázquez, Pizarro, like Vecchio, or Leopoldo López, or Juan Guaidó in Miami. What's the role they played? They are bosses. They call coyotes. They have a network of people trafficking. They charge for the migrants they transport. People are not estranged about going through the Darien jungle. It's an network of human trafficking, and that network is linked to the Aragua train and Pablo Uribe to protect them. I wish that all the governments, we applaud that all of those groups of criminals, but they have there, I saw in a picture in a restaurant of the United States, Leopoldo López, Carlos Vecchio, and Velázquez, and Guaidó. It's a criminal structure that lives in the United States, and it must not be possible that the FBI does not realize what's happening. Trump's government must know the basis of migration is there. They charge migrants for bringing them to the U.S., such as they charge the criminals and offer them protection in exchange of the money of the United States. It's a mafia, and they are in the United States. The greatest hit that can be given to the Aragua train is stopping the actions of Velázquez, Guaidó, Julio Borges, Pizarro, Leopoldo López. In addition, it is of public knowledge that here in the elections of July 28th, these groups supported publicly Mr. Edmundo González and Mrs. María Corina Machado. Recordings of public knowledge. In spite of all this, Melanie, the people of Venezuela, the Venezuelan government, will never abandon the Colombian people. In spite of the attacks we have received from Iván Duque, Pastrana, and the paramilitary groups that they direct. We will never turn our back on the Colombian people. Women, people are being treated, workers are being treated. Some say it's probably that they are entering violent people here. Well, we are in charge to verify them, but we will not turn our back on them. We didn't born that day, and I wish that the government of the United States get that reports of the FBI. They have them, but those little monsters were created by them. Those criminals were created by them. So it's time to correct her mistakes. The main criminals are living in the United States, carrying out businesses there with human beings, human trafficking, and criminal bands. Thank you, Melanie. The second question comes from Only Frank Amaya from Venevisión. Good afternoon. Will be Venezuela in the foreign policy agenda of the President of the United States, Donald Trump? Is the Venezuelan government willing to establish dialogue to reestablish the relationship between both countries? Thank you. According to this constitution, our head of state, our president, Nicolás Maduro, is in charge of the foreign relations. You will never see here, as happens in Colombia by the foreign ministry, providing declarations different from those provided by the president. He has his own agenda apart from the president. But this is a policy directed by the head of state, and the president has been very clear about this. And it doesn't come from President Nicolás Maduro. Let's remember that Maduro was for almost 7 years foreign ministry of Commander Chavez. A great experience. He knows how to manage this. Now he's president of the republic, and he's in charge of making decisions. And he has said it several times. Respect. That's the only thing we want. Respect. We respect everybody, so we demand respect. And we will establish transparent relationship with anybody. The other day, the government made a choice to reduce the diplomatic staff in some embassies. The response is that the embassies in some countries are not to conspiracy. against that country. But the relationship with the governments of those who rule that country through the government. It's not a little government that establishes an embassy here in Venezuela. A little government of such embassy. The same happens with the United States. The clear relationship, it has always been said, it is not our fault. We have got the attacks, but we don't attack anybody. And when I say us, I say these people. I think that a way to establish transparent relationship is the elimination of intermediaries so that people can see each other face to face. For a long time, intermediaries here were communication media. 2012, intermediaries were media. The embassy of the U.S. Obeyed what the informations of Univision and international media, but then that was substituted by political sectors of the country that are not political, and they pretended to be political. They are not political. They were just people, since they are inheritance of the last names, wanted to be part of this. Then they got tired and established in Colombia someone they call Palmieri, who are far away from the reality of what's happening in this country. From time to time, they establish an NGO there. The relationships established with the United States or any country depends on the country of the republic, and this party will support the president in any decision that he makes. If the U.S. wants a relationship of respect, here we are. Let's see what the offer people as Juan Guaido in exchange of what? What do they want to deliver from Venezuela? Has been said that he was willing to deliver some part of the Venezuelan Guajira to Colombia for drug trafficking usage. The opposition sector is being financed by the drug trafficking of Uribe, Pastrana, Santos. They are the ones who finance the opposition. What do they offer? They are deceiving us because they have nothing to offer, because here we have a president and a government and a people that will never let them return to rule that country. The U.S. should know what's happening in Venezuela. All of the countries of the world should know what's happening in this country. If you don't want to see, don't see. How Venezuela was in December, I'm not going to say December, but until yesterday, people in the streets celebrating in the beaches. What kind of dictatorship is that? What is the regime against the people? There's not such regime. Here we have a people that is happy and wants to continue to be happy, and the only thing that demands is respect, a respectful relationship, whether it is with the United States, the European Union, whatever it is. Someone said something about the sanctions, and they continue to present sanctions against us, and the only thing they do with that is harm our people. They are sanctions and for no reason, for pursuing And in the sanctions, they established the accounts will be stopped. The thieves are there in the United States, the ones who must be sanctioned. Pizarro, Leopoldo Lopez, Guaido, Julio Borges are there. Respects, that's the only thing we want. And we establish transparent relationship with everybody. Thank you. Last question, Channel E, Nelson Delgado. Greetings, good afternoon. First Vice President, during the weekend, the citizen Edmundo González Urrutia held meetings in Costa Rica with the president of the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. What is the importance or results that could arise from this reunion when he's not the legitimate president? And what is the analysis that you provide to the declarations of a Republican Congressman in which she accuses Chevron of financing the Venezuelan government? So she demanded the suspension of the licenses of operation. What do you say about it? I'm not going to defend Chevron. Let them defend themselves. If Chevron sees that Congress and tells her, here it is, she will say, the best thing of the universe is Chevron. That's how politics work there in the U.S. Let them defend themselves and understand each other. She's looking to be added to that list, but I cannot interfere there. Let them handle that themselves. They have always been that way. Politics is a business, and that has been interpreted the same way by the opposition sectors in Venezuela. And regarding the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, is it commission or court? Okay, the court. That's part of the OAS. That's not transcendent. Since that person has no agenda, and if he has a meeting with somebody, he goes, what's the impact of that on the world? Zero. That's how they said, invited to the inauguration of Donald Trump. Then they say, I'm not invited, it's just one of the position. And then they say, only senators will be present in the inauguration ceremony. And then he said, I have one invitation and will give it to him. I've been looking for a picture of that person in the Inauguration Act, and I couldn't see him. Maybe tomorrow we will see him, but the information that we have in Saloon, where the act was carried out, very similar to ours, to the electric saloon. And then there are another room, and then he was 10 rooms apart, but he's invited, apparently. As said by the Guachero account when he was a comedian. I entered to the university, but just to deliver some papers. It's similar to what happened here. What do we care? We don't care if he was invited or not. What's the impact of that on Venezuela? Who do they deceive with that? Us? Not at all. We don't care about it. We laugh at it. That permanent self-deceivement. Now, history, and lies fall because the life has short legs and you don't need to do anything. They are exposed by itself. I hope that he's received there, since it's so cold. He has taken office. But it's the way it works. That has no importance for us. The political decisions of Venezuela are taken in Venezuela, in this country. And these people made a choice in the July the 28th and decided that the president-elect was Nicolás Maduro Moros. And that's how it is. That is why I introduced the issue of this, since I heard that they were going to declare the criminal bands in the United States as terrorists and they were going to expel them. Probably Guaido and their partners are fleeing to Mexico. That's a criminal band. If you want to find the heads of the Aragua train, look for them in Colombia. They are Duque and Uribe. They were taken from here to protect them. And from there, they are committed a lot of crimes against our country. And I talk about the joint operation that we carried out, and they captured just one, well, two. A lady who was in a taxi and has nothing to do with that. And one of the people who were there. Then the lady wanted to be prosecuted for something, but from the criminals, there were 16, they captured just one, and we asked for him in extradition, and they don't want to give it back. We know who rules justice in Colombia. Alvaro Uribe. There are 12 witnesses against Alvaro Uribe. He has a demand against him, and what a coincidence that 9 of those 12 witnesses have died. That's justice in Colombia. So we hope that the fight against criminal groups are activated in the United States. And no wonder Guaido says tomorrow, I have been invited by the University of Salamanca to a certain course, and I will stay there. They are criminals, and they are protected by the government of the United States in their territories. When I say governments, I say all the administrations that have been in office throughout this time. But even someone who has a lot of money gets tired of being robbed, and they mock them. I'm saying here. So we see each other in the streets in the 22nd and 23rd in the great exercise of the Bolivarian coat of arms, the first of this year. All of the people of the communication media are invited to see the people in the streets defending our borders, our people, our citizens, our facilities throughout the national territory. Venezuela is free, and it will continue to be free. And we will deliver our children a free, sovereign, and independent homeland. As our Commander Chavez says, today we have a homeland to defend, and nobody nor anything will make us change our mind. And if those who didn't understand it in 2024, we will say in 2025, no matter what happened, we still say, long live the homeland, long live Bolivar, long live Chavez, long live Maduro, long live PSUV. That was